Peter, what's your thoughts tonight?
The thoughts are that the battle that we had to win today and the fight that we showed was outstanding, because remember we came here earlier on in the season and we were really disappointed with the manner in which we didn't compete. Today, all over the park, really strong, aggressive with our tackling, our heading, and then on the other side of that we had the quality to go with it. Having said that, East Fife started, the first 8 minutes, I think they hit the post with a free kick, had a couple of half chances and opportunities because the wind, I've stood here and moaned before about playing against the wind, because I think last season that's a game we probably lose, because last season I think there was 3 or 4 games we went away, Montrose, and gale force winds against us and we just didn't fight, weren't up for the battle. Today we're a different, a little bit of a different team, stood up to that battle, win it, then a little bit of quality on the other side of that for Stotty's goal, the first goal, then the quality in the build-up for the second penalty. Really good, and to come in 2-0 at half-time, having played against that wind today, that's signs of a good side. And then the second half we felt that there was more there for us, and we went and we were quite ruthless and went and got them. The only downside today is the goal we conceded. You defenders, and especially with today, we weren't really troubled after that first 8 minutes. I think they had one other long range shot in the first half. To concede a goal is really frustrating, but you can't argue with that when you score 5. So really good day.
And the conditions were horrendous, so it was just a case that Queen's mastered them better today. Yeah,
like any time you come here against East Fife with the Dick Campbell team, they're going to be aggressive. They work really, really hard, and they fight and scrap. And especially in that midfield area, it's really congested. There was a stage, I think, at about the 40-minute mark where Jack Stott wins 2 headers, then Reece Lyne wins the next header, and Benjamin Luson wins the next one, all in the space of 4 or 5 seconds. And I'm standing there as a manager, a proud manager, going, we're having to teach this, and we've said it that we have to teach the players the other side of the game, and being a bit more physical and how strong we were. Then we get out the other side with the likes of Kai, Liam, the quality to it, and Curtis making really intelligent runs. So it's good. We've improved, but football has a way of having a sting in the tail if you're not at it. If you don't keep going, keep trying to improve and keep trying to learn, and we're doing that at the moment.
Are you using kind of today as an example or a guide of where you came from, given the performance of the last time?
I think so, yeah, because we played against East Fife at our pitch, won the battle there, but our pitch is a little bit different. This is a harder bounce. When the ball's played along the ground, it bobbles a little bit, so you have to take an extra touch. The wind, which is a huge factor today. So yeah, we've moved on and improved, which is really good, but that improvement just needs to keep happening. Small little improvements all the time. We need to keep on top of it, and not get too ahead of ourselves, because it's only 3 points. But I'm sort of more proud of this performance from this team than we go back to the Hamilton game, where you got 2 footballing sides playing, passing, looks really beautiful on the eye for the fans, but today, for us, where we were last season and how we've improved, I'm delighted with that.
And to come in with a performance and just score 5 after not playing last week, there's always that fear when there's a break that the momentum's broken, but the momentum wasn't broken today.
No, I think that last week was a bit of a blessing for us, not having the game and getting players back. We lost Xander McKenzie with an injury yesterday, and Niall Rogerson was struggling with a little bit of an injury from the game earlier on the week. But we've had the likes of Brennan coming on today, asked to play a little bit of a different role because of the way the game was panning out, and he gets his goal. Delighted with that. And then I've obviously got to mention Jordan Allen, who we've spoke about his comeback and getting him minutes and developing his minutes, and then he goes and steps up and takes the penalty and scores, and I'm delighted for him, and all the players are as well. So
I was saying that to Jordan himself, the reaction of the players. He spoke about after the Celtic game about how they had supported him through his journey, but it shows just what it means to him and them today with the celebration after his.
Absolutely, he's he's great in the change room. He's an integral part of the squad. He's worked really hard and had a couple of setbacks which, you know, can affect you mentally, and he's just had to battle away and trying to get himself back right. He's still not fully fit, and there's still loads of work to come. But for a striker to come on, get a few minutes and get a goal, that means the world to him. But also from our point of view, seeing how hard he works and seeing what he puts in and seeing what he does for the squad, because we're quite a small squad. You know, it's great, and I'm delighted all of our players got to celebrate with him, but also him running to the fans seeing him back and scoring. That's, again, I can only say that we're really pleased and delighted for him, that he's back involved with us.
I knew you'd be upset about the goal that you lost, and the other downside as well looked like the injury to Mikey.
Yeah, I think Mikey's a bit of a trooper there. He's trying to stay on, but you could see him hobbling and limping, so we took him off, made that little bit of a change and put Brennan on, which worked. Or else I think Mikey said after the game that he was about to go down, you know, and sit down, because there was a bad tackle on him, and it was rightfully so a red card. But Mikey at the moment has a calf, a knee and a hamstring all killing him, so I don't know how he's been, you know, the contact with him. We'll have to see how he is over the next day or two, because if you've come off with 3 different injuries from one tackle, you know, hopefully he's okay.
His hand as well, because it stood on in the first half, so the one that he'd broken his arm. So
it was, yeah. We asked him about that. He just said he fell awkwardly, but he's fine. There's no problem with that. It's more the concern of that challenge. You know, East Fife are full of blood and thunder. Try and battle and fight for everything. They've got, you know, really hardened professionals, and we managed to come through that, but we didn't come through clean with no injuries. Obviously, Mikey's a downside to that.
Sets us up nicely for Inverness next week.
It does, but we're going to have to wait and see with you know, the likes of Mikey and Xander, 2 right backs. Going to have to see how they are. Hopefully they're fine, and, you know, just with a bit of rest they come back. But yeah, sets it up really well. But that's going to be another totally different game again, and Inverness have been doing really well, and they've got a lot of games coming up as well. So I think they'll be looking to try and get a good result. But if we can upset that, and then the amount of games that they've got in February, you never know what could happen.
Obviously want to prove something against them after the game up there. Yeah,
I think the game up there, when we went up and we didn't turn up after the long trip and the debacle that it was travelling up, but you know, you want to prove something every week, and as I said today, we've proved one side of it, that we're going to have to battle and fight and scrap and work for each other, and then we have that little bit of quality. So next week we're going to have to do the exact same, although it'll be, you know, slightly different. But they've got some good players too, so we're just going to make sure that we do all our work this week and we're prepared as well as we can be and try and go get a result.